Hey guys, today we are going to learn about percent composition. So some things you should have in front of you right now. We are in our chapter 7 packet. We are on day 7. So you should have page 8 in front of you, which is the sheet you see on the screen right now. And this is a note sheet that we're going to be working on for the next couple of days. Another thing you need is your periodic table and a calculator. So what is percent composition? This is a way that you can tell the percentage of elements within a compound. So you all know the formula for sugar. If you look at this example here, this is actually the formula for sugar, C6H12O6. If I asked you what percent of sugar is carbon, then you'll be doing the following math equation. So to find the percent composition of elements in a compound, use the following formula. You'll need to take the molar mass of the element, and you will need to divide that by the molar mass of the compound, and then you multiply by 100. Now that should make sense. I think I've taught you guys about percentages, and anytime you take a percentage, you want to take the part that we're interested in, divide it by the whole, and then multiply by 100. So if I'm asking you how much of sugar is carbon, then the part that we're concerned with is carbon. So carbon's mass is going to go on top. The whole would be the mass of sugar, so the mass of this entire thing. So then you just divide those two masses and multiply by 100. So this is where we're going to need our periodic table. We need to find the mass. We're looking at this first example. We need to find the mass of carbon. So next to carbon, there are 6 of them. Carbon's molar mass, you see I have it pulled up here, is 12. We'll move on and do hydrogen. Hydrogen, there are 12 hydrogens in this formula. Hydrogen's mass is 1. And then lastly, I have 6 oxygens. Oxygen's mass, we can round that number to 16. All right, so once you multiply all of these together, you should get 72, 12, and then 96. And then we add them. So this is it's the same steps that you learned at the beginning of this unit, how to find the molar mass. So 410, 180. All right, so what we're going to do for this problem is we're actually going to find the percent composition of each of these elements. So starting with carbon, I'm going to go back up to carbon's mass, that's the part, and I'm going to divide it by the whole, which is 180 times 100. I'm going to do the same thing with hydrogen. Hydrogen's mass is 12. And remember, we're talking about the mass of all 12 of these hydrogens, all 6 of these carbons. That's the mass that we're dividing here. By 180 times 100, and then the same thing with oxygen. 96 divided by 180 times 100. So 72 divided by 180 times 100 gives me 40% carbon. 12 divided by 180 times 100 gives me 6.7% hydrogen. 96 divided by 180 times 100 gives me 53.3% oxygen. And you should get, all your percentages should add up to equal 100%. And you'll notice that they do. Now, sometimes it's okay, like if you get 99.9, that's fine. It's not always going to be exactly 100, but it should be close. All right, let's do one more example. In this next example, we are given the name of the compound, but we're not given the formula. So we've got to do that first. Ammonium is NH4. And remember, ammonium has a +1 charge. That's one of your polyatomic ions. Phosphate is PO4 with a -3 charge. And since those charges are not the same, we've got to cross our 3. Okay, so figuring out how many there are of each of these elements, remember that the 3 is on the outside of the parentheses. So this 3 goes with both the nitrogen and the hydrogen. So there are 3 nitrogens. For hydrogen, we have to multiply 3 times 4. So we get 12 hydrogens. We have 1 phosphorus and 4 oxygens. Now going back to our periodic table, nitrogen's mass is 14. Hydrogen's is 1. If you look at phosphorus, we're going to round that to 31. And then oxygen is 16. So we're actually done with the periodic table now. So we'll do all that math. 42, 12, 31, 64. Add all of that together. We get 9, 5, 8, 14. So 149. So now we just need to go back through and divide each of these numbers by 149. And then multiply them all by 100, because remember, we want to make it a percent. So 42 divided by 149 gives me 28.2%. 12 divided by 149 gives me 8.1%. 31 divided by 149 is 20.8%. And then lastly, 64 divided by 149 gives me 43%. All right, so if you wanted to add all those up to check yourself, 28.2 plus 8.1 plus 20.8 plus 43, we actually get 100.1, but that's pretty close. And usually when you find your percents, you round to whole numbers anyway. I just did several of mine to 1 decimal place. All right, so that's the end of today's lesson. Now you're going to complete page 9 of the packet, where you're just going to do several problems just like this. And let me know if you have any questions.